Then you got even more so, a college student found hanged after telling friends she had been raped. It's interesting because there seems to be a tie to the Armenia. Clowns are losing control. And there's traffickers that are in big trouble. What is going on? The New York Post, Lady Gaga's dog walker, Ryan Fisher, reportedly shot in the chest and the dogs are stolen. It's amazing how these headlines are getting out there. It's almost like they're releasing this information, they being the white hats, to the mainstream media. Mainstream media is releasing them. It just doesn't even make sense. Then you got D'Amico, dry bulk CEO. Bonasso dies at 72. Then you got Iona college basketball announcer hit with federal child porn charges. College basketball announcer, around 18 to 22-year-olds. And he has child porn charges. Who's around our kids at these colleges that we're sending them to? Then you got Orlando City player brother raped women in Kissimmee apartment, affidavit said. Then you have a San Francisco man arrested for child porn, was a former lacrosse coach at Town Hall for Boys in Pacific Heights. An ex-NFL player, Kellen Winslow II, faces 14 years after new plea deal for sex crimes. What's happening? Dude, is President Trump in control? Is Biden in control? And who's running what show? But I'm telling you, these arrests are happening. Suicides are happening. Folks are getting exposed. And a lot of it is starting to be placed out in the mainstream media. Who's in control, folks? 22-year-old Philly man charged in Macy's restroom rape. Man arrested after decomposed body found in burned trailer. Ohio man arrested after sexually communicating with detective he believed was a 13-year-old girl. Man arrested after sharing child porn images with undercover officer. Sheriff says they're all falling. And then after decades of sex abuse claims, state moves to stop former Santa Clara chief pediatrician from practicing medicine. There's new allegations surfacing against that doctor. Oh, my goodness. And then you've got the breaking. The Fed system that allowed banks to send money back and forth is down. You guys probably didn't hear about this. If you did, the Federal Reserve banking system had a nationwide outage. And supposedly this is the first time. And many folks think that this is just an experiment or a test on the system to see who the bad guys are, if there's any they need to weed out, because there's a structure change coming to our money, folks. Yes, gold shall destroy the Fed. You know, I used to think Federal Reserve meant government. That's just a company, Federal Reserve banking system, and I believe that it's already bankrupt. You know, Vincent Kennedy was telling us in 2019, are you free if a corporation can shut off your electricity? Do people realize? People are going to realize to be truly free requires free energy to start. The plan is larger than most are thinking. With that, you have heat, water, that's free energy. You can grow food, lights, TV, computers, same as now, but no corporation can just flick a switch and turn you off. Now comes what's next, NESARA or something of the likes. We become sovereign citizens and not just property of the United States Corporation of America. We are really starting to understand freedom by this time. Now, this was put out February 2019, folks. Then comes innovation boom, and we will be sure, need it because our economy would definitely go down. So I keep hearing about NESARA GESARA. I've watched many folks that talk about it. I'll bring this over and I put it in the description box below, but it means the National Security and Reformation Act. That's NESARA. Global Economic Security and Reformation Act is GESARA. NESARA is the most groundbreaking reformation to sweep not only the United States of America, but the whole planet in its entire history. The act does away with the Federal Reserve Bank, the IRS, the shadow government, and much more. NESARA implements the following changes, and here's a few I'll just read to you before we get to the end of this video. Zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. The Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee or a forgiveness of debt. And Jubilee comes from the Bible. I believe after 70 years, you have to have a full forgiveness of debt. It abolishes the income tax, abolishes the IRS, creates a 14% flat rate non-essential new items only sales tax revenue for the government, increases benefits to senior citizens, returns constitutional law to all courts, reinstates the original title of nobility amendment, establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after NESARA's announcement, monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities. Wouldn't that be nice? Creates a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation. It goes on and on. You can read all of these. I see them all the time from many folks out there. Even Charlie Ward has been sharing my videos on Telegram. Thank you, Charlie, if you watch my stuff. Really love your work and love what you're doing, sharing information with so many patriots around the world. We got a lot of digital soldiers, folks, with a lot of different backgrounds and what have you. And we need to do our own research, find out what's going on. What's really even more interesting is NSA put out a tweet on the 17th of February. It said, for the next 40 days, hashtag 40 days, many Americans will reflect on their faith and participate in self-examination practices in preparation for Easter. Well, that was posted at 11:25 a.m. When we go to the Intel board at 11:25. What does it say? The FBI is burning the midnight oil. It's happening. Huh. Interesting. Who's running the NSA now, folks? How can they put out something that matches some direct comms probably to us? Could be. Could not be. It's just a guess. Never forget what you're fighting for. Freedom, justice, liberty, equality, accountability, and the list goes on. The fight, folks, we're watching it happen. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a perfect example. Are you doing the same thing she's doing? Are you praying? Are you walking around talking to your neighbors, your friends? I was just talking to a friend I haven't seen in probably 4 years. Asked him what he thought about what's going on. The answer was very interesting. Who cares about politics? It's all the same. I don't really get involved in politics. And I said, you better pay attention because it will affect you. No, it won't affect you. Yes, it will have an effect on you someday. And I spent some time explaining it. We all have a duty to spend some time with our friends and family, regardless of what they say, and do our best to share the truth. May God protect our children. May God protect humanity. May God protect our freedom. May God protect our liberty. May God let justice prevail.